protocols as we get started here. Wow. For a guy, Sinclair Woodridge, who was, some of us would say, low-key, this is a great celebration of his life that we see here today. And I just want to thank all of you for coming out. This is also being live streamed. So I just want to give out the address so that if you want to send to anyone that was not able to get here, that they can go online and see what's going on. And that is www.youtube.com. You know what? We're going to have to pass this around because you're not going to get all of this here. Do you have any more of these? Yeah, we're going to pass these around so that you have them. That will be the best bet. And I'm sure that not everyone has a pen. So, okay. And here oh, that's it? Okay. Okay, great. As we prepare to celebrate our dear friend Sinclair Woodridge's span of life, protocol, first of all, there are so many of us here from so many walks of life and backgrounds with Sinclair. I just want to acknowledge all of you in your capacity, whatever that may be. I don't want to single anyone out. Sinclair was definitely not one of those who liked to wear a tie. He's probably upset with me right now because we're starting late. But throughout this evening's ceremony, we're going to learn some interesting facts and trivia type things that I've known Sinclair for so long. I didn't even realize some of these things. The subject matters never came up. So it's going to be a rather interesting evening. I mentioned earlier that there is food at the back and that there are drinks. The whole concept, this concept is slightly different. We're going to go through a few things that we're going to have, toast and musical selections and the likes. But what we are asking of you is to just go ahead and mingle, guys. Because again, this is a celebration. So if you feel the urge to get up and go speak to someone, you know, and be happy, laughing a bit loud, just go ahead, enjoy yourself. If you need to get a drink, if you need the restroom, if you need food, please enjoy this celebration, because this is an opportunity for us in our capacity to one another to say, quite frankly, thank you for this life. Lynn, I don't know where you are. We continue, I don't know what to say, but this is an incredibly strong woman. And all of you know that. Incredibly. And as we, again, I'm going to encourage you to mingle with one another. There are more seats being put out so that if you need to sit, you can. And pretty much that's most of the protocols. When we get to the personal tributes, if there is anyone that feels that they would like to give a tribute, please let me know. Put your hand up. Somehow let me know that you'd like to come and give a tribute. We will attempt to keep it to 3 minutes. They asked me to MC over this here because they said, well, he'll keep everyone in line. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to. Again, this is a celebration, guys. Thank you so much for coming out this evening. It means so much to Lynn, Karen. It means so much to the family that you have come to join with us in the celebration of a wonderful, wonderful man. You probably have nicknames for him, Sinky, whatever the case may be, and we'll probably hear about some of those from school as well. And so at this time, I'd like to invite Helliger. Andre, if you could come out and give us a toast. Yeah, I'll hold the mic down.
Okay.
I need a glass.
Yeah, get yourself a glass.
Someone just from the back there, bring up a glass for me, please.
And can we all have something in our hands?
Yes.
Okay, so Sinky, my nickname.
Yes.
Was a very, very good friend, close friend of mine, a schoolmate from from 1967, Saltus Grammar School. And I told a story about how we were the first to break the color barrier, 8 of us in 19. I didn't want to be there, he didn't want to be there, but we were there. He was actually the second person that I met going through Saltus Gates, and the first person that looked like me. So we kind of, we bonded, we stuck to each other. The first week, I don't think there was a sheet of paper that could get between us. Anyway, I'd like to toast the memory of my friend. Sinclair was one of a kind, quick-witted, showing kindness and grace, and always with a smile. And by the attendance here today, a very popular and well-liked guy. So please, raise a glass to the memory of the husband, relative, friend we all know as Sinclair Woolridge. We will miss him. Cheers. Okay. Thank you.
All right, so as we go ahead and start getting set up for a musical selection by the wonderful and the great Gita Blakeney, I just want to remind you guys, I bet you did not know that Sinclair Woolridge was a hustler. I just found this out. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what do you mean? What was he doing? This guy was a hustler. Do you know that when he was in school, this guy was going out playing cards for money so that he could call Lynn long distance? What a hustler. I'm like, what is going on here? And tonight you're going to continue to hear some wonderful things about our dear friends. Some of you have on your pink collars for flats, pink and green. We want to thank you for honoring him. I must admit, I was about to throw this pink jacket out. But wonderful that we have this time to celebrate. Our wonderful Gita, please.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. What a sea of beautiful people. I'm sure Sinclair will be happy. Clearly, I didn't get the memo. I'm wearing black. But with that said, I believe that he will forgive me. I just want to share, just quietly, that both Gary and I have had the pleasure of knowing and growing to love Lynn and Sinclair through the years. And funnily enough, we have had some more intimate moments as of late with his dear friends, Granville and Susan, who have been enjoying me at the Lorin. And they became a fixture. So I would get in there and start setting up for my music, and I'd see my 4 favorite people sitting at the table in their favorite spot. And they would sit there, and I would be serenading them, and others, of course. But it was special for me and for Gary that we got to spend these moments with Sinclair that were so beautiful. And as you could hear with the background music that you were hearing earlier, you could tell his style of what he loved, you know, the Sade, Anita Baker, all that stuff. And I was doing very similar things. So I just feel like it was a gift. It was a true gift for me to have Sinclair and Lynn so close to me. And I want to say, too, that when I think of Sinclair, maybe more than 1 or 2 words, but I can tell you the first word is kind. This man was so kind. And I use kind because it means a lot to me when people can show kindness. The other word that I would say is that he was consistent. He was consistently kind and loving and gentle and supportive. You know, I mean, I see his smile. I see him, I feel him. He was always the same guy. And these are the things that I will hold dear in my heart. And as I said to Lynn, he is always with us, always. So this song, Lynn selected it with me, if you will, but this is her tribute to her beloved Sinclair. Now I've had my share of life's ups and downs, but fate's been kind. The downs have been few. Well, I guess you could say that I well, I guess you could say that it's all because of you. If anyone should ever write my life story, for whatever reason there might be, well, you'll be there between each line of pain and glory, 'cause you're the best thing that's ever happened. You're the best thing that's ever happened. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me. And there have been times when times were hard, but always somehow I know I'd make it. I'd make it through. 'Cause for every moment that I spent hurting, there was a moment that I spent, oh, just loving you. If anyone should ever write my life story, for whatever reason there might be, oh, you'll be there between each line of pain and glory, 'cause you're the best thing that's ever happened. You're the best thing that's ever happened. You're the best thing that's ever happened. I say you're the best thing that's ever happened. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me. To me. Yeah. We love you, Sinclair.
Just beautiful. I want to say to, although Sinclair has passed, I want to say to Sinclair and Lynn, thank you for setting such a wonderful example of couples that live through time, good, indifferent sometimes, bad sometimes, but for setting such a great example of love. Unbelievable. Beautiful. Now, See, I found some interesting information. Sinclair, while Cheryl is getting ready for scripture, they got married during a blizzard, a storm. And just like he came into the marriage, he goes out in a blizzard, just messed everyone up. Like, what in the world happened? But again, as you listen to that song, what a great celebration of his life. Can't thank him enough. Cheryl, you coming on up here, girl? Come on.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sinclair would be so glad to see you all. I am going to read from Psalms 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you are with me. You, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. Thanks.
The next part of this here, and again, as I mentioned, I know it's a bit difficult, but please feel free if you need to get up, get a drink or something to eat. I know that's kind of difficult. It's a different format, but here we are. Next, we're going to have a video montage that we'll get ready to start. But I wanted to tell you something. I know the family members have gotten in a car and Sinclair has driven the car. I already hear family members basically laughing at that. But there's one side of my face that's still suffering from driving in a car with Sinclair. He had a knack for whatever reason, when you got to those big corners in the United States or Canada, for some reason that meant to him to accelerate. I mean, we were going into the corner already at 50 miles an hour. So, you know, I'm sitting in the car, and unfortunately, the eldest daughter in our family, she has that same challenge driving with Sinclair. She does the same thing as him. And I know some of the other family members do. He would go into this corner so fast, my face is stuck to the side of the window, and I'm looking at him like, are we going to slow down? In fact, the car was so stuffed one time during it had just snowed, and he was drifting into the corner. I'm like, what is this dude doing? Another talent that he had. The guy could drive. He could drive. When my wife and I got married, we went to Canada, and they came, and we followed him around in the car. I was so distraught trying to follow him in a car. I got out of the car at the park and forgot anything to do with the car. I didn't put it in park, neither the gear stick nor the brake, and the car just rolled off, scared as well. Unbelievable. And I know the rental car, it probably retired after that. So at this time, Melissa, we want to get are we ready? If anyone has a funny story, you can always just come up to me, let me know, okay? I've got a ton of them, and I know the family does as well. So while they're getting it prepared, you did hear as we did a toast. Here we go. This will be about 15 minutes. I should have seen this.
I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. Everybody's searching for a hero. People need someone to look up to. I never found anyone who fulfilled my need. A lonely place to be. So I learned to depend on me. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I'll succeed. No matter what they think of me, they can't take away my dignity. Because the love of all was happening to me. I found the love of all inside of me. The greatest love of all is easy to achieve. Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter. Ask me how I'm doing, I'm blessed, yes. Living every moment, no regrets. Smile up on my face, I'm like, oh, yes, I'm blessed, yes, I'm blessed, yes. Waking up, thanking God. Every day is feeling just like Sunday. Wifey fly, by my side. Green light, everything is going my way. Riding clean, living dreams. Just left the barber and I'm feeling like Midas. Heard him say, give him praise. What's in the water got you acting like this? Ain't a day go by that I don't try to thank the Lord above. And if you wonder why I'm loving life, come close and I'll tell you what's up. Ask me how I'm doing, I'm blessed, yes. Living every moment, no regrets. Smile up on my face, I'm like, oh, yes, I'm blessed, yes, I'm blessed, yes. Ask me how I'm doing, I'm blessed, yes. Living every moment, no regrets. Smile up on my face, I'm like, oh, yes, I'm blessed, yes, I'm blessed, yes. Playing cards, laughing hard. reason that I am like this. Ain't a day go by that I don't try to thank the Lord up above. And if you wonder why I'm loving life, come close and I'll tell you what's up. Ask me how I'm doing, I'm blessed, yes. Living every moment, no regrets. Smile up on my face, I'm like, oh, yes, I'm blessed, yes, I'm blessed, yes. Ask me how I'm doing, I'm blessed, yes. Living every moment, no regrets. Smile up on my face, I'm like, oh, yes, I'm blessed, yes, I'm blessed, yes, I'm blessed. I'm blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. I'm blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. I'm blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. If you got a roof over your head, bringing home the bread, got your family fed, oh, 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 you're blessed. Sunshine, I'm so free, living out my dreams. God's been good to me. Oh, 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 I'm blessed. Me, I'm doing, I'm blessed. Yes, living every moment, no regrets. Smile up on my face, I'm like, oh, yes, I'm blessed. I'm blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Ask me how I'm doing, I'm blessed. Yes, living every moment, no regrets. Smile up on my face, I'm like, oh, oh, yes, I'm blessed. Yes, I'm blessed. Yes, I'm blessed. I'm blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. I'm blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. I'm blessed, I'm blessed, y'all. Oh, 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 I'm blessed.
Another day has gone. I'm still all alone. How could this be? You're not here with me. You never said goodbye. Someone tell me why I have to go. Leave my world so cold. Every day I see it as myself. How did I unbreak my heart? In my hands. You are not alone. I am here with you. Though you're far away, I am here to stay. Not alone. I am here with you. Though we're far apart, you're always in my heart. You're not alone. Just the other night, I thought I heard you cry, asking me to come and hold you in my arms. I can hear your prayers, your burdens I will bear. First I need your hand, then forever can begin. memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories. And the memories bring back your. There's a time that I remember when I did not know no pain. When I believed in forever, everything would stay the same. Now my heart feel like December when somebody say your name. Cause I can't reach out to call you, but I know I will one day. Hey. Everybody hurts sometimes, everybody hurts someday. Hey, hey. But everything gon' be alright. Gonna raise a glass and say, hey. Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. Cause the dreams bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories. And the memories bring back your. Memories bring back your. There's a time that I remember when I never felt so lost. And I felt all of the hatred. Was too powerful for the stars. Now my heart feel like an ember, and it's lighting up the dark. So carry these torches for you.
I can believe that. I can believe that we all had the same response to that, smiling. And that's the life that he led. He left you with a smile. Now, for some of us who got to do some other things with him, he also brought some of us into some bad habits. And there was a theme that you saw there going on. And one of those was wine, alcohol. And in particular, for me, every time we were in a pool, he had me drinking. That doesn't mix. But young people, he loved young people. What an amazing effect that he has had, not just on his family young people, but on extended family members and young folk. What an impact he has had. And I know I've touched a few in the crowd, some of the young folk, and to this point they're still in tears because this was a guy who spent time with them. And so I'm saying if you learned anything from Sinclair tonight, have a little wine, but remember that our young people mean everything to us and should. Now, and he liked to sing. That was a new one. I didn't know that. He liked to sing. I'm going to tell you, just before we move on to having Lynn come up, Sinclair brought me into another bad habit. And I swore down I wasn't going to do it. I was away with my wife, and I bought a Merce. All through the pictures you saw Sinclair, if we can pull up a picture, he always had that Merce on the side of him. And I was like, I am not going to buy one of those things. Now, I want to say something. I blame a person that's in this room who he can't even talk tonight. It's just so messed up. And that's Granny. We call him Granny. Where is he? I know that it was Granny's influence that had Sinclair. Lynn, I bet you he's got about 10 Merce that he hasn't even worn. He's got 3 that he hasn't worn. So we're going to have to borrow a few. You know. I went out and bought this thing, and I wore it for the day, and I was like, how could he be comfortable? This thing is on my side here. But he had an effect on all of us, and again, what an impact he has had on our lives. At this time, there was one other common theme. Did you notice the smile on Lynn's face when they were together in those pictures? Lynn, I'm going to call you up now, and I know that this is your time on stage. And so Linda's going to come forward now and read the obituary.
Okay, great. So this is for the benefit of those who are watching from overseas, because obviously those of you in the room can read for yourselves. Sinclair Lorin Woodridge was born in New Haven, Connecticut on October 14, 1955, and along with his sister Karen, returned to Bermuda to be raised by their mother Lorraine and grandmother Alice Painter. He grew up in Flats Village, amid the security of a place where everyone knew you and looked out for you. He attended Harrington Sound Primary School, and he got up to the usual boyhood mischief: go-kart racing off McGall's Hill, jumping off Flats Bridge onto the stingrays below, and playing chicken with a javelin thrower. He was interested in the hospitality business, and he hung around Coral Island Hotel just across the street, where he somehow convinced Mr. Lawrence to let him drive a truck at age 14, long before he would have been able to drive in Bermuda. Find him and grind him with those gears. His mother was determined that he should pursue an academic route, and so she fought to get him accepted into Saltus Grammar School in those early years post-integration. After Saltus, he attended the Sixth Form Center, bit of a culture shock after attending an all-boys and predominantly white school. At Sixth Form, he mastered card playing, euchre, and he met me. Like many at that time, he owned a mobilette bike, 2 in fact, an everyday one and then a special one that only came outdoors when there was 0 chance of rain and which was sheltered safely in his bedroom otherwise, on its own towel, so that the oil wouldn't ruin the floor. By the end of that school year, his mom had enrolled him in a military boarding school in New Brunswick, Canada, near Big Sister Karen, who was at Mount Allison, and more importantly, far away from Lynn. Still focused on a career in the hospitality sector, he was awarded a scholarship by Elbow Beach Hotel to study hotel management, and off he went to the University of Guelph in Ontario, Canada, where he became a proud member of the HAFA, Hotel and Food Administration class of '78. That first year of university, while living in residence, he again excelled in card playing, with folks from the Caribbean, including Wilson A. Young Chi, who would eventually become best man at his wedding. Lynn also enrolled at Guelph. During the school year and on vacations, Sinclair worked as a waiter at Aberfoyle Mill in Ontario and in Bermuda at Coral Island for breakfast, floating restaurant for lunch, and a Holiday Inn for dinner service. During the last semester of university, he and Lynn married on the weekend of the blizzard of '78. After graduation, upon returning to Bermuda, he found there was no hospitality management trainee position awaiting him at Elbow Beach, and he had to come up with a new plan. A chance meeting led to the world of accounting, and he eventually earned his CGA, Certified General Accountant designation. After only 2 years in Bermuda, he said to Lynn, "Let's go back to Canada for 2 years, maybe 3, so I can get some practical income tax experience," wink, wink. That time stretched out to almost 30 years. Canada opened a host of opportunities, and he parlayed his accounting skills into roles in the software industry, beginning with Computer Associates and ending up at SAP, affording him the opportunity to travel the world and rack up frequent flyer points. His SAP knowledge took him to Montreal for a few years, where he was able to be immersed in and learn French at his employer's expense. Eventually, that SAP knowledge brought him back to Bermuda to work at Zurich Insurance, where he was able to forge many new friendships and watch his nieces and nephews grow up. He was everyone's Uncle Sink. Over the years, there have been trips with friends and family to wine country in the US and Canada, family vacations in Canada, Barbados, and the UK, and trips to the Caribbean where Lynn was in the insurance industry. For those travels, Sink performed the roles of travel agent, rental car arranger, driver chauffeur, and foreign currency acquirer, among others. And for Bermuda gatherings, he could be counted on to supply a well-stocked beverage cooler. And the party never fully got underway until he arrived. He made sure that the younger generation were cared for, and education was paramount. Many recall how he tutored them in accounting and finance in general. He and Lynn never had biological children, but lovingly cared for godchildren and nieces and nephews, whether related by blood or not. In recent years, he offered his finance skills to the Summers Gardens Condo Association and to the One Bermuda Alliance as their treasurer. This summer, he was able to travel back for his 50th New Brunswick High School reunion, followed by a family reunion in Ontario. That last trip in July was a struggle for him physically, but he was a trooper. An illness that first presented 30 years ago contributed to his collapse on the day he was to return to Bermuda. The outpouring of love and support from those here in Bermuda and overseas in Canada, the US, the UK, and the Caribbean has been overwhelming, but not surprising. He was affable, charming, and charismatic, and everyone loved to be around him. Thank you.
I don't believe that there are any video tributes. So at this time, what I want to do is then move to those who feel that they would love to share their life experience with Sinclair in any way, shape, or form. Yes, I see one hand down there going up. If you could come forward, I would really, really appreciate it. Those of you, some have already mentioned that you'd like to give a tribute, so I'd like for you to come up at this time. And while folk are coming up, I want to tell you another funny story with Sinclair. I know there's more than one because many people mentioned it to me that they'd like to give tribute. Please, if you could come up at this time. I don't want Sinclair visiting me tonight because we didn't stay on time. While folk are coming up, we had decided to buy a boat, my wife and I, and crazy me, you know, I got a speedboat. And to my surprise, Sinclair was excited too. He was excited about, yeah, man, we got this speedboat. Let's hit the water. So I said, well, do you know how to drive a boat? I'm talking to him. Yeah, man, I know how to drive a boat. I said, man, you're from Flats. You don't know how to drive. So he convinced me that he could drive a boat. Now, I put him in the driver's seat because I was going to do what he typically does, sit off and have a wine. So we go out on North Shore, and we're flying. We're going 60 miles an hour in a big boat. We're speeding. And if you know anything about dockyard, those of you folk who know about boats and water, outside of dockyard, there's a problem. And it's called reefs. And there's a lot of sunk ships out there because of reefs. Well, Sinclair was flying, and he's looking, and I looked over the side of the boat. I saw a reef. I was like, ooh, that's new to me. I know the water's off of St. David's, but I ain't too sure about off of Somerset. Sinclair said, we're all right, we're all right. You know, getting everybody a little tipsy in his driving, his designated driver. Within a few seconds, I heard a slight noise. Just slight. We all right, Sinclair? Yep, we're all right. Next thing I look, we're so deep into the reefs we couldn't get out. And Sinclair's looking at me. Well, he said, well, I'm gonna have a few hors d'oeuvres now. And here I am stuck in Somerset and having a heck of a clue how to get out of these reefs. And he was not going to jump overboard and help. So eventually we maneuvered ourselves out, and he became a captain of the ship from then on in. He knew where the reefs were. So I'm hoping that we've got a few folk come up here. We do have a little time. In fact, if I look at the time now, oh, well, great time, Lynn. Great time. So please, there was a few more that mentioned to me that they would come up. Please, if you can, just to remind you, if you can come up, it'd be a great time to celebrate this life in your own fashion and in your own way. I'm going to ask, yes, you were one of the first to show up. You got to be, what are you, 6'3", 6'4"? 6'3"? Okay, you're taller than me. You can come on up. What I would do is I'll bring this over here.
You did hear I say I was 6'3", right?
Yeah, you're 6'4". Yeah. Let's see if we can fix this. Is that a little better?
Yeah, that's better.
That's better?
Yeah.
Not too often, guys is much taller than me. There you go.
Thanks, man.
How's that?
That's perfect. Hi, my name's Ian Somerville. I met Sinclair 50 years ago, roughly, at university. Initially, nobody really referred to him in the singular version. It was always Sinclair and Lynn. That was until we all figured out who the headliner was, and then it became Lynn and Sinclair. My wife, Kathy, and I are here to obviously pay our respects and to honor our friendship, and also to stand with Lynn. I suppose, too, I kind of represent all the people from HAFA. I was just reading online before I came up here that there were a total of 62 people online watching the service, and there's a great number of them that were his classmates at university, and there's a tribute that a couple of us put together and penned in the little booklet you got there, so I'd encourage you to read that. When you've known somebody for 50 years, it's kind of hard to put into words all those things that are most meaningful, and certainly, I could list a whole bunch of them, and I'm sure it would be rather cathartic for us all, but I just wanted to sort of pick out a couple that were most important to me. Sink was a very thoughtful and smart in a way that compelled you to listen. He was calm. He was so calm that he seemed unflappable, like he knew there was a place of peace somewhere that nobody else knew about. I know this. I was in the money business for a long time, and I helped Sinclair with some of his money, and like all investing, things don't always work out, and I'd be so worried about having to talk to him about it, and he'd just, yeah, okay. And it just calmed me down completely. He also had what I would classify as a come give me a hug kind of smile. I can close my eyes for the rest of my life and see that smile. He had a really boyish laugh too, but it had this hint of mischievousness that would always make you stop a little bit, and it often was foretold by the glint in his eye. The other thing was he was always put together. Sinclair was never dressed like a slob. That guy was put out all the time. And I'm sitting here getting dressed today. I'm like 50 pounds heavier since I retired. My coat doesn't fit anymore. I forgot my loafers. I don't have any dark socks. I'm thinking, Jesus, Sinclair, But, I got dressed and I came out here. And of course, the first thing I did was I opened up the booklet, and you start looking in the pictures because you want to see yourself, right? And of course, the first thing I saw was Sinclair. He's got my jacket on. So it's like right in the top left-hand corner there. So it made me feel okay all of a sudden that it didn't quite fit right. I'm going to pick up on something that our MC said, that, I always I always found it kind of interesting that today I too also carry a man bag, or as my wife like to call it, my man purse. My wife bought it for me, and Sinclair made that possible. So all these things kind of wrap up in an interesting way for me, in that every time Kath and I lived down the road from Lynn and Sinclair in Ontario, and so we often socialized together over the years, whether they were in Ontario or not. And every time we would drive away, my wife would say to me, it was almost the same quote all the time: Sinclair has such beautiful eyes. He's so handsome. I'm probably not going to have to listen to that anymore, although I'm sure she's going to find a picture of him somewhere and bring it up again. In the end, all it really boils down to is, the most important thing, that Sinclair was my friend. I almost made it. And I'm going to miss him. Thank you.
Make an adjustment to the mics here, guys. Good now? Good? Yep. All right, so we're going to go with the next tallest fella. That's you. Jaron Richardson.
Sorry. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, most especially to Lynn and family. For those who don't know, I'm the leader of the One Bermuda Alliance, and for my sins, the opposition leader. And I stand this evening to represent the assembled family and team of the One Bermuda Alliance. I first met Sinclair. He was on the Candidate Select Committee. And I can attest to every one of your comments about the smile, because it was simultaneously welcoming and petrifying. He seemed to know something that I didn't know. And he nodded along as I sort of gave one reasonable answer after the other, I thought, and I spent the whole time worried. Later on, I got to know him better and better. But I didn't know him for very long. We really only knew each other for 5-ish years, a little longer than that. One of my friends, Aggie Medeiros, says you can have an experience, if you've done something for 20 years, you could have that one experience just over and over for 20 years and never learn, based on the intensity of how reflective you are. And I'll tell you one thing, Sinclair was the kind of personality that your friendship only got stronger every year, because he was so clear, so intense, so consistent. His values stood out on his shoulder. You never doubted where you stood with him. I'll give a great example is in politics, you agree sometimes you disagree. That's just the nature. But that's not just politics, that's working in any organization, especially a large one, especially when you have a mission, you think you're trying to fulfill something and change people's lives. And I can tell you right now that for every time that we agreed or disagreed, it did not matter, because you knew that his purpose was as pure and straightforward as it gets. He never wavered. He was always about Bermuda and Bermudians. You never doubted his strength of character, his commitment. He just held firm. And by the way, that does mean you get into a couple scraps sometimes. And by the way, if you're going to get in a fight with Sinclair, you'd better A, be right, or at least have a very good reason to be wrong. And he was just this fantastic, fantastic person. And over the years, I learned more and more how to work together, how to build things. And I can tell you, there are things I cannot tell you that he did, the fights that he had for Bermuda, for the betterment of Bermuda. He was just always there for us, every single one of us. And he never let anyone in the One Bermuda Alliance forget that that's why we were there too. He took on the point. I tease Lynn sometimes because I introduce people to the party. I'm like, oh, this is so and so. He's a former leader. This is so and so. He's the secretary, or this is so and so. That's the chair. And then I came across Lynn, and I went, and that's just Lynn. I mean, that's like Lynn is a title in the One Bermuda Alliance. Okay, Lynn Woolridge is just a title. Okay, we'll be, and Sinclair had that too. He's just he was a person, a title unto himself, and he will be missed because every single thing he did was for the betterment of Bermudians. And I hope that we would find someone as clear, as honest, as consistent to keep us focused on the mission like Sinclair did. But I can tell you one thing, Lynn, we will never ever forget Sinclair Woolridge. Thank you, everybody.
So what we're going to do, we're going to go clockwise around the table here. Milicia, yeah?
So I say, Uncle Sinclair, I have so much that I want to say to you. But I'm standing here to let those who have come to this memorial to either learn something more about you or to reminisce about what they already know about you. To me, you have always been there. Initially the man who married my Aunt Leanne and was her other half, but more recently a mentor and a listening ear. How did you manage to have so much time in a day to check up with so many people, send Instagram and TikTok links, and respond to those and others who sent you, and so many people send Instagram and TikTok links and respond to the ones I and others sent you, giving 110% at work. He was also a co-partner to our investigation business, a listening ear to things I wanted to run by you, to hear us rock, the family banker, and overall the person that got us together to have a drink, as you always had the cooler stacked. I remember how you told me how to stack the cooler. How is it that the time that I get into drinking, I can't even have a drink with you anymore? To call and send messages to... Uncle Sinclair had a big heart, and I'm sure you all could say the same about him. I am still in shock. Who am I going to... Oh, that's my son.
It's okay. It's okay. His daddy can take it.
Sorry, man. Who is going to discuss financial... Who am I going to discuss financial decisions with? Who am I going to have hidden jokes with for family gatherings? Who's going to do all the 3 snaps? Who's going to skylark with Kylie? What are we going to do without you? The plan was that you and Aunt Leanne will retire in Canada, and I would get to visit you two and stay in the spare room. The hardest of the mist was to hear us passing out ceremony. I was not supposed to be there without you. I know you would have been so proud. And the 2 of us were supposed to be on another investigation mission. But I had to do that all by myself. I hate this, I do. I hate this, I miss you on the finger. I'm done.
I need to apologize. Thanks.
We have a trio coming up right now. Kian, Sherelle, Alina.
Good afternoon, all. Our dear friend Sinclair, as we call him, Sin. Elena, Pilar, Marcia, Sherelle, and I met Cindy through Zurich. Sinclair was an amazing person who made a huge impact on our lives. He was always there to help us, give us good advice, and listen when we needed someone to talk to. Sinclair was not just a good friend, but also a teacher and mentor to many of us. He was always willing to share the knowledge and skills with us all. Sinclair had many talents, including having a great sense of humor that would always guarantee a laugh. He always loved wine and was happy to share his passion for it with us. He also had a sweet tooth and often would share his candy to help brighten our days. When we were feeling down or lost without a friend, let's stop, take a moment, and think about all the good memories we have of Sinclair and how he made our lives better. Sinclair would be dearly missed, but his legacy of his kindness and generosity will live on within our hearts. We would like to say thank you to Lynn for sharing Sinclair with us.
Good evening, everyone. This is a tribute from Marcia, who was unable to be here as she's off island. We thank you. We think about you always. We talk about you still. You have never been forgotten, and you never will. We hold you close within our hearts, and there you will remain, to walk and guide us through our lives until we meet again. Cindy, we miss you so much, but your spirit will always be with us. Your memories we hold close to our hearts. We may have lost you in presence, but your love and wisdom continue to guide us. You are more than a friend. You are a mentor, a confidant, and someone who could always count on for anything. Your absence has left a void that can never be filled. Sleep in peace, my dear Cindy, and I'm just saying, continue to watch over us.
We're inviting Pauline to the stage. Pauline Richards.
Good evening, everyone. I had not intended to say anything this evening, but I'd like to, first of all, acknowledge Lynn, because it was through Lynn that I met Sinclair. I don't know if she remembers this, but we attended a family center event at Southampton Princess one evening, and I was telling Lynn about my office and how busy it was, and I was looking for some accounting help. And Lynn said, "You are?" And she said, "I know just the person." So I said, "And who is that?" And she convinced me that the only person in the whole world who could help me was Sinclair. And she was right. I met Sinclair. I had met him that evening, but really hadn't had a chance to get to know him. And he came, he interviewed, and the principals of the company and we liked him. We liked what he was saying. We liked his style, his warmth, and he was hired on the spot. He came to work, I think, the next day. It was mentioned in the obituary that Sinclair did his CGA, his accounting qualification, but no one has said what a great accountant he was. And I think it's really important. We worked together for roughly 10, 11 years. So I really knew something about the quality of the work product that Sinclair produced. He challenged me, and I had better be right, because he was always right. The other skill that he brought to us was his knowledge of computers. He had a brilliant mind, and he could solve the computer problems before the computer people came in. And so, in every aspect, and those who are here who worked with Sinclair, I'm looking at Linda, I'm looking at Emma, I'm looking at the twins. We all got to love him. Mrs. Barker, who was our tea lady, sorry, not the tea lady, she was helping us in the office in the evenings, tidying up. Mrs. Barker can't be here because she's not very well. She fell in love with Sinclair, and he with her. He was kind. He was knowledgeable. He was a friend to everyone. May, I don't know if May is still here, he taught, there she is, he taught May everything she knew about the accounting work that we had to do. He was a mentor to her. He was a mentor to me too. And I just cannot let this evening go without telling you about the trust, because when we work together with someone, if we don't have that trust, it doesn't work. We trusted Sinclair with everything that we had in that office. And as I said, he knew what he was doing, and he did it the correct way. And I didn't always, I took shortcuts, but Sinclair would come and say, no, you got to do this over, because this isn't right. He did it longhand while I was trying to do it shorthand. He was brilliant. And I want to thank Lynn for that introduction and for bringing Sinclair into my life, because he was very, very valuable. Brad Huntington and John Williams, who were the principals of the company, could not be here. They're traveling. They're both traveling. And they also send their sincere sympathies to you, Lynn, and the family. Thank you very much, all.
I'm inviting Ms. Trott up now. Perfect, sorry. I can't read.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joanne Furbett, and first of all, I want to honor Lynn and her family. And I'm just here. I was designated as the speaker on behalf of the Furbett family. Sinclair is my first cousin. His mother and my mother were sisters. I remember when I was a child, his mom, my Aunt Lorraine, she would come and pick me up and take me down to Flats, and we'd jump off of the wharf down at, was it Coral? What was it called then? I don't remember. Coral, yes. And she would take me often down there. I don't know if Karen remembers that, but one thing that stands out tonight, a few words: kind, humble. That is exactly how my cousin was. Whenever I would see him, you know, we would have these deep conversations. The Furbett side of the family happened to be very, what's the word I should say, very, very political. And so we would always have these debates. And, you know, we would also, I remember Sinclair attending my mother, who was named Phyllis. She's deceased now, but she was blind in the family, and Sinclair would always ask about his Aunt Phil. And so in fact, at her 90th birthday, Sinclair and Lynn attended, and you know, I could remember so many times and different things that they attended. You know, even just recently, our Furbett side is getting very, very small. In fact, I just remember seeing Sinclair at my other cousin's funeral just the other day. So we are shrinking on the Furbett side, but I thought that I would just get up and speak and say something, because people might say, oh, well, how is he related to the Furbetts? Well, that's how he's related. Karen is also my first cousin. Crystal sees in the house, she's also related to Sinclair, Cochet Scott, my cousin Ann, even Felicity. Felicity's on the Woolridge's side. My brother Derek here in the front, and Joanne, my sister-in-law, she and I have the same name. And also, yeah, we were just, last time, before my cousin's funeral in June, we were on the corner just here on Reed Street and having a chat. And it was always, you know, it was never going to be just a small little short conversation. We'd have a little powwow about something. And, but as I say, the words that stand out this afternoon are humble, kind, just a great guy. He was warm and loving, and that's how I want to remember him. I shed a tear when I got the news because I had just seen him, and it was difficult. It was difficult for me, but I thank Lynn and her family for sharing Sinclair with us. So thank you all, and have a great day. Thank you.
Jewel Trott, longtime friend.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Lynn. I met Sinclair when I was about 13 or 14, when he was working at Holiday Inn Hotel. I saw one or two of the Holiday Inn crew come in here tonight. I got the nickname at Holiday Inn. My boys don't know this, they are here. I got the nickname JB. There's Jimbo. JB is because I was 14, and all the guys were told she is J.O. Bait. Sinclair called me JB for the rest of my life. My boys did not know that before. But Sinclair and Lynn has shared Sinclair with so many. He has mentored my boys to the man they are today. I'll give you a quick story to stop myself from crying. One day, the youngest son was on Reed Street, and he says, "Mom, guess who I bumped into? Aunt Lynn and Uncle Sinky." I said, "Well, ask Aunt Lynn if she wants to sell her car. That car is Earl." And Unico got that car within days. They sold that car to Unico. He got his first car. When they were younger, we went to Canada, and we were shocked. We didn't have to pay for nothing. They just took care of the boys and myself. We went to the zoo. That's the only time those boys have been to the zoo. And they have been there for the grandbabies now. Let them know, call Uncle Sinky, let Aunt Leah know, baby's coming. Shower gave a couple of dollars here, this will help. And when they came back, we were all so happy that they were back. Sinclair looked out for us from the beginning to the end. One more story, let's get him in trouble again. The need for speed. Jimbo, I think you were in the car that day. I had to get picked up. My mom said, "Call Sinclair." I had to go to a brunch with my high school class. And Sinclair picked me up to take me. Coming out of St. George's Ferry Reach, Sinclair doing numbers. Stokes Point Lane Road, we spun out. Sinclair, "Don't tell nobody, you will never be able to get in this car again." But that was Sinclair. He has always been there for so many of our children. He has encouraged them, and I am just so grateful that Lynn and Sinclair have been in my life ever since I can remember. One more thing. I found a picture the other day of myself at my high school graduation from Berkeley Institute. Now, I thought that, because my mama liked him and Lynn, he chauffeured me to the graduation. I thought he just drove me to the graduation. But then I remembered we changed the graduation ceremony from Holiday Inn to Southampton Princess. So that meant a few more of us could go. So Sinclair actually went to the graduation with me. And the only picture I can find of myself with Sinclair is that graduation picture. He is missed, he will be missed, and he will always be a treasure to me and my boys. Thank you.
We have just 2 more tributes, and I would encourage you, if you don't have a drink, we are going to have a toast at the end of the ceremony, so please get yourself a drink. So at this time, I'm going to invite his niece, Tahira. Come on, Tahira.
Good afternoon, everybody. As everyone knows, I'm his niece. Trying to gather my back in. I just want to say thank you for being a part of my life. I didn't have anything written all this time. Oh my God, hold on. Being a part of my life, being a part of my aunt's life. I want to thank you for bringing him into our lives. He has been the most influential person in my life that I've ever had. Someone that took on a father role for me. He took on a grandfather role for my daughter. He's always been there to cheer me on in everything that I've done. He's always been there to bother my daughter. I always thought he would be here to walk me down the aisle, and I'm not going to have that luxury, so to see a reality without him is quite hard. I just want to say thank you for having me in his life, and thank you for bringing him into our family and everything. I don't know what we're going to do about him. His personality has been one of a kind. You can never imitate his personality. He's always been a caring person, kind-hearted person, as everyone has known that's here. And I'll cherish every moment that I've ever had with him. I will never forget him. I'll always continue to live on throughout his legacy. I'm just going to miss him holding my head for pictures. Because I hated pictures, but look, I have to. I wish I had more pictures now. If you can tell, some of the pictures I'm not looking at them, but I'm in there because they're holding my head. I'm just going to truly miss him, and I just want to say thank you for everything that he has done for me, and everything that he's done for my auntie, and just having him here, he's just a kind-hearted spirit, and I'm going to forever miss him. Thank you.
Yes, we have one more. Yes, one more. We have one more tribute, and I'm gonna ask Lynn to just come on up. I think it was Tahira that you bought the bike for, wasn't it? Yes.
I bought the bike.
Yes.
I bought the bike.
Lynn.
I purchased the bike.
Come to the mic.
My money.
Yeah,
My money. I bought the bike. He
chose
the bike. But she always says Uncle Sink bought her the bike. I bought the bike.
She got it straight. It's been a long-going beef. She bought the bike, but Sinclair took all the credit.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Thanks. Yeah, now that I got that out of the way. Mrs. Hall, neighbor, couldn't be here today, and so she provided a tribute and asked me to read it on her behalf. And so this is her tribute to the good friend and neighbor Sinclair. She says, "Where and how do we begin, and who would have thought? We will begin with one of New York's bestsellers, The Measure of a Man, a spiritual autobiography written by Sidney Poitier. When we consider the title, Sinclair comes to mind. We've been neighbors with the Woolridges, Karen, her mom, her granny, for well over 40 years. And of course, in between those years, Sinclair headed off to college, and on his return, we were still here. We never encountered any misunderstandings or any unkind words spoken by Sinclair, and we all know how some neighbors can behave. Without reservation, Sinclair was our ringtone and our neighborhood watchdog operating from his home office, a room with a great view overlooking Flats Village. Yes, he lived a short life, a mere 68 years, in comparison to Mr. Brownlow Place, who we all know has just celebrated his 107th birthday. We can honestly say that Sinclair demonstrated certain values such as integrity, commitment, faith, and forgiveness. We will really miss our chats from across the clothesline, the outdoor activities in the garden and around the yard. Missing him just simply waving to us from the window and his hearty laughter. Just recently, as last week, I was talking to him. Of course, I know he couldn't hear me. And I was saying to him, Sinclair, you see us raking up the branches and leaves that were spread over the yard, compliments of Hurricane Ernesto? Come help us. Help get the truck driver to load up his truck with all this debris. But like the action of the eye of that hurricane, Sinclair's memory will live on in our hearts. We won't say goodbye, just so long. Thanks for the good memories until we meet again, and rest in peace. And that's from Pat and Sam Hall, the Hall family. Thanks.
So we have two more now. Andre, come on up, buddy.
Okay. Hello again. Hey, Lynn. Hey, sis. Okay, liquid courage. So I said a few things in the original toast that I want to expand on. One of which is Sinclair's early days. I met Sinclair, like I said, in 1967 at the gates of Saltus Grammar School. During that time, the major parties in Bermuda were squabbling about the education system. And as a result, one of the things that came out of the House of Assembly and the two parties was that the system of education in Bermuda would be opened up to a broader spectrum of people. One of those places was Saltus Grammar School. As a consequence of opening up Saltus Grammar School to all comers, I was one of those 8 people in 1967 who essentially broke the color barrier at Saltus Grammar School. Sinclair Woolridge was one of the other 8 people, and I'm going to list the other 6 of those 8 who were in that group. Derek Smith. A lot of people will know Derek Smith as a consulate here in Bermuda, but I don't know if Derek is here. Back in the day, Derek was a terror. Lee Simmons, who's now Dr. Lee Simmons, a dentist here in Bermuda. He may be retired, I'm not sure. Clark Godwin, Bermuda's first 7-foot high jumper, and a dentist as well. Millard Gilbert. And of course, myself. We end up like we begin. if we're doing it right, strong. Sinclair, when I met him back in 1967, as the first black face that I saw going through the gates of Saltus, was smiling. He was like, "Hey, I'm here." I was terrified. I was from Somerset. All my friends were going to Churchill, and I was going to Saltus. Sinclair said to me something like, "Ain't no big thing, this is just a school." Until we were stood to attention. Because there was roll call every morning. We were stood to attention. Our tie had to be straight. Our shoes had to be shined. The black shoes, no brown shoes, had to be laces. Our shirt had to be white. I'm saying all this to say that while I miss my friend terribly, those days were heady days back then. We went through it. We did a lot of things at that school that we wouldn't otherwise have gotten away with if we weren't who we were. But we made fast friends, black friends, white friends, Portuguese friends, and there were those who came after us. There were those who came after us, tried to emulate us. Took a lot of licks. A lot of licks. From us as well as them. But it was good times. And there was a time in Bermuda where it was a shoulder period where things were changing. Education was changing, society was changing. But I'm really hoping, that all those things that went on back then that have produced the people that I listed here. I'm sorry, I missed one person who was there. Wayne Lattimore. Wayne Al. To produce the people out of that group of 8 that are still kicking around, doing their thing, mentoring people like Sinclair mentored people. I'm hoping that it meant something to everyone, because it certainly means something to me. Thank you very much.
Inviting Cheryl up at this time. Come on.
Good afternoon, all. I just want to tell you what Sinclair has meant to the Iris family. I was glad to have Sinclair in my life for over 50 years. The times that he rode in my yard like a lunatic, coming to see Fred Marshall as a young child. And along the years, he came along to see Marvin, as well as Malicia. Here are a few things that Sinclair loved. He loved fine foods, no meat, cashew nuts, riding fast, and driving fast, especially abroad. Speed was his energy. There are stories to tell but I won't tell them. Patrice can tell them. Malicia can tell them. I think if Renelle was here, she would tell them too. Choosing good wines and enjoying them. Having a good time with family and friends. Meeting new people. He could converse. Sinclair enjoyed my Brazil nuts. My daughter-in-law's mother brought me 5 bags from Canada, which I lovingly gave him 1. He relished, and he really made sure that they were going to last, because he wasn't getting any more. Today, Sinclair would be snickering at me for not having my own Bible to read the 23rd Psalm to you. Sinclair has been to weddings, graduation in England, birthdays, on island and off, wedding anniversaries. The final birthday trip was my brother's 90th in Canada in July. Even in his discomfort, he made sure persons were taken care of. I wish we were still planning excursions with him, but in my heart, I feel that he has done all that he could. Sinclair must be somewhere in this room, looking around at us and smiling. Sinclair has introduced me to some fine wines. Beautiful conversations and making me laugh. Attending to getting togethers at my house, sitting around my dining room table and on the porch. Hey, Sink, have a bottle of my yellow bird for you. I wish you were still here, but now how I last saw you. I miss your presence, but you will always be loved and remain in my heart and in my children's heart. Thoughts. Always, also thanks for being there for my children and their spouses and their significant others. Rest in peace, Sinclair. God bless.
Loretta now is going to have a musical selection, and then we'll have the thank yous.
You know what everyone else has?
Yes.
He just asked, do you want to come up? I said, well, everyone else has. Good evening, everyone. Wow, this is such an honor. I have to admit, I actually only know Lynn. But my first introduction to Lynn was me running up to her. We were at Marsden, and I was like, you're a Woolridge. We're family. And she's like, I married a Woolridge. So for the Woolridges, I'm out of the Brown clan. Yeah, means absolutely nothing. All right. So at one point, I don't know if Ms. Blakeney is still here, but it's wonderful. We as singers, some of us have different habits. I don't eat before I sing. And I did not get the memo either. So All right. So unfortunately, the food is gone, so I felt like I fasted all this time, smelling the food. But I was just kind of like, okay, God, is this a suffer process or a learning curve? And I'm glad that I actually went through the whole 2-hour fast because I got to learn about Sinclair. I got to learn about him from the crowd that was at the back of the room. I got to learn about him from the tears, from the joy, from the laughter. Wow, those are some serious stories. And the one thing that I did love was like every single time there was the video, he had a mic. So I was asked to render a selection, but I'm gonna do something different. So how many of us know Amazing Grace? Okay, now, how many of us know the lyrics to the first part of Amazing Grace? If you don't, find somebody that does, because we're gonna have a little karaoke time at the end, okay? I'm gonna do my part. I wasn't sure how this was gonna go, but God said do it like this, so I'm gonna do it like this, and we're just gonna float, right? If you don't agree, just pretend and nod your head. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, with no last days to sing my Father's praise. Then we found Let's join Amazing Grace. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. But now I see. Amen. You guys sounded amazing. Amen.
Okay, we're going to now do our thank yous and then close out. Michaela? Is this one?
Good evening. I am so blessed to be able to say that I had the very best godfather. I'm just saying. And I would add the 3 snaps, but I don't think that I could do it justice. Aunt Lynn and Uncle Sink's sister, Karen, wish to thank a number of people. The planning committee, Craig for emceeing the event, Gita and Larita for their musical selections, friends and family who flew in especially for the event, Andre, Sally and Spencer, Rocky, Ian and Kathy, who are also celebrating their 33rd wedding anniversary while they're on the island, Robert and Bianca. Milicia for her technology skills, Wilkes Catering, Goslings, and finally, but most importantly, thank you all for your participation today and helping us to pay tribute to one who will be so deeply missed. Can I get 3 snaps for Uncle Sink? Thank you.
All right, guys, this is it. We're gonna have a toast now. Bungie, come on up. Granny, wifey, come on. Both of you. Come on. Just hold that for me. As we leave this evening, I want to thank you all for taking the time to share with each other how special this life has been. For those of us who are believers, we know that this is not the end. For those who are somewhat different, we recognize that in this life that he has lived, through you, it will continue to live on. Maya Angelou said this: "A great soul serves everyone all the time. A great soul never dies. It brings us together again and again and again." And in closing, Abraham Lincoln said this: "In the end, it's not the years in your life that count. It's the life in your years." Thank you. Thank you. thank you for making this such a special occasion for each other. Lynn, we will continue to love you till the end. And may Sinclair's life continue to bless you with all of those wine bottles you still have in the house, with the money that's probably still in those Merce that you have. You don't have any more pawpaws because I stole them off of his tree. Thank you. Shall we toast in honor of a brilliant life, Sinclair L. Woolridge. Cheers, everyone. Have a great evening.
Chairs and tables.
Chairs and tables. That's right. Cheers. There's still probably more food there, drinks. Please enjoy yourselves as we leave this evening. The Soltis boys are getting together here. You'll break this up. Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.
Yeah, too many wines. And the red wine was from his stash.
Huh? Was from his stash?
Thank you, Craig. Thank you.
It was beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You know what? I came to tears sitting there listening to these people. I had to smack myself, get it together. Man, I can't say enough about it. My goodness.
Gotta be careful now.
No. Don't go anywhere, Gita. Lynn's looking for you.